2020-2021. First, we will take a look at the performance of our students on the iReady diagnostic assessments and compare the scores between the fall and winter administrations. As we compare, this year the decision was made to look at the growth that our students have made since the beginning of the year and to compare it to the growth obtained in previous years. This is because due to the closure of schools as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, we consider that there may be gaps in terms of the skills acquired prior to the beginning of sixth grade. When we compared in the subject of reading the results of our students in comparison to results from the prior years that we've been Richardson Sixth Grade Academy, we can see that the amount of growth amongst our Tier 1 students increased at a level that's comparison to prior years. In reviewing data from the 2017-2018 school year up to now, the most significant gains were made during the 2018-2019 school year, which was the year that we achieved an A. But the growth of our students this school year was the second most significant, and that is very encouraging as we take a look at our action steps to see what's still needed. At the bottom of the page, this year's diagnostic results are broken down by domain so that we can see changes in those areas. Phonemic awareness, phonics, and high-frequency words are domains that all students should have mastered by the time they reach sixth grade, but we do have a few students who are still working in those areas. So for all intents and purposes, for a school-wide comparison, we're looking at the domains of vocabulary, literature, and informational text. Among those three areas, 45% of our students scored at Tier 1, which was a 10% gain over the beginning of the school year. And there was a 10% gain in the performance of our students in the informational text domain. The least amount of gains were made in the area of vocabulary, where only 37% of our students are scoring at Tier 1. In the subject of mathematics, when we look at the comparative analysis and reviewing the growth of our students, the growth that our students made is comparable to the prior years that we've been Richardson Sixth Grade Academy. So once again, that is very encouraging. Yet the most significant amount of gain of Tier 1 students occurred during the 2018-2019 school year when we earned a school grade of an A. The number of Tier 1 students in mathematics is currently significantly lower than in prior years, but the amount of growth the students have made since the beginning of the year is comparable. As we look at the domains within mathematics and compare the amount of growth from the beginning of the year, we consider the way the standards are structured in the subject of mathematics. And so the largest difference in terms of the increase of Tier 1 students occurred in the domain of the number system, which the vast majority of the first semester is dedicated to developing those skills. Algebraic skills are taught all year. And it's interesting to note that 50% of our students are on or above grade level in the domain of measurement. And then, of course, geometry is an area that needs to be developed. And it's interesting that in terms of the scope and sequence for the 2020-2021 school year, geometry is the domain that is usually addressed near the end of the year. The greatest gains were made, as mentioned previously, in the domain of the number system. This final tab shows for the subjects of reading and mathematics each domain for the 2020-2021 school year so that we can see the increase in the number of Tier 1 students overall versus each domain. In reviewing this data, it's very encouraging to see that we do have an increase in the number of students who are now performing at Tier 1 in both reading and mathematics. Yet let's consider, what do our students still need? What do we need to provide for them in order to finish strong for the 2020-2021 school year? We have 5 goals for the 2020-2021 school year. And in looking at our overall data, where are we in terms of ensuring that all of our students show gains and that we achieve our growth targets by the end of the year? For goal 1, all RSGA students will show an increase in student achievement and learning gains by 4% in language arts and 4% in mathematics when compared to the students' 2018-2019 fourth grade results from the Florida Standards Assessment. So overall, we have to show gains by 4% in English language arts and 4% in mathematics. As you review the action steps, everything that has a green check mark next to it means that we have completed the step. The steps that are in process are indicated by the words in process, and anything that has a square means that is still something that is in development or that needs to be completed. In reviewing goal 1, one of the action items not completed involves integrating vocabulary instruction. And when we reviewed our reading data, that same area was the area where we had the least amount of gains. But considering all areas school-wide, what do we need to support language arts and math instruction? And what do we need in order to support our students who are not making the benchmark? Those are things that we have to consider. On the right side of the screen, you can see how funds have been allocated in order to support this goal. Everything that has an X means that it's been completed. Everything that says in progress means that those are ongoing initiatives that are completed throughout the year. And anything that has a blank is an action step that hasn't been completed yet. And for all of the goals that are here, it's the same organization. The same indicators for goal 1 will match goals 2 through 5 as well. Goal 2 is our goal that relates to our lowest quartile of students. Our goal for this year is that at least 50% of those students will demonstrate learning gains in English language arts. So as we review this mid-year, let's consider, what do the students sitting in our classrooms still need? Goal 3 is targeted towards our lowest quartile students in mathematics. As we look at our progress towards our action steps, what do our students still need? Goal 4 addresses the domain of science. Our goal is by the end of the year, 60% of all RSGA students will demonstrate an average of 60% or higher as measured by the Performance Matters Science Assessment. In terms of the initiatives we've had planned, we have 2 initiatives on hold, which are both indicated here. We've had some transition in staff, which has directly impacted our ability to implement all that has been planned for this year. So in areas where you still see blanks, those items are in the process of being planned, but because of COVID restrictions and because of developing knowledge in terms of the science and STEM teachers that we have on campus, it has taken a little longer to implement these action steps. Goal 5 is a direct correlation to our school's parent and family engagement plan. Our goal is that by the end of this school year, of all students whose families participate in our parent and family engagement initiatives, our goal is for the students of those parents to show an increase of 4% in learning gains as compared to the 2018-2019 FSA results. So all parents who were involved and who take advantage of the initiatives we offer, we're tracking the performance of those students to see if the initiatives that we've planned and implemented have had a direct impact. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, everything that we've offered this year has been offered virtually. So a lot of the items that are listed here are items that we have not been able to distribute or put into action yet. There's one mistake on here in terms of the agenda planners. Our students have their agenda planners, so those have been purchased and those have been distributed. On this slide, you see the parent and family engagement activities that were planned in March and April of 2020 for this school year. Some of these activities we've been able to implement due to COVID. There were many activities that we've either had to postpone or eliminate entirely. Currently, our parents are receiving newsletters containing the indicated information. We still hope to be able to host a Step Up in Information Night. We're currently planning our academic nights. We're looking at hosting a STEM event in the spring. Most likely it will be virtual. We're implementing our parent conference events. Yet this year we did not have a Take Your Child to School Day event on campus, nor have we had our All Pro Dads events due to COVID restrictions. And of course we hosted our Meet the Teacher orientation. We're hoping if we're able to host a spring transition event for our current students, that we will be able to host the technology and internet safety presentation as a part of the transition information we share with our parents. This slide explains additional initiatives that we are working on for the 2020-2021 school year, which primarily involves the development of our school climate committee and working on processes and procedures and making sure that there's consistency in the implementation of CHAMPS procedures school-wide. Please take a moment to share your ideas, questions, and feedback by visiting the Google form below. You'll receive a series of questions regarding our progress towards achieving our goals, items you feel as though we need to add or change or delete, and also we're receiving an additional allocation of federal funding from the state. And so we would like to hear from you based on the results of our students on the iReady diagnostic assessments and based on what you're seeing in your classroom. What do we need to consider allocating funds for? What materials do we still need? What resources could benefit the students that are sitting in our classrooms? Please take a moment to click on the Google form and share that information with us so that we can include it in the mid-year review of our school improvement plan. Thanks so much for taking a moment to listen and review this information, and we look forward to hearing back from you.